Welcome to the online class, my dear students. In the last class, we discussed memory unit. So there, just we discussed memory is classified into mainly two types: primary memory and secondary memory. And afterwards, we listed the differences between primary memory and secondary memory. Today we are going to discuss two topics. First one is evolution of computer, and next topic afterwards we are going to discuss 5 generations of computer, right? So now let us see what is the meaning of this evolution of computer. In this topic, evolution of computer means we are going to discuss how computer is developed, how computer, what we are seeing at present, maybe laptop or a desktop, whether the same form will be there in the initial stage. No. When the computers are invented, at that time the size of the computer is just like a room size. It is a very big in size. That's why at that time it is not user friendly. So let us see now regarding this evolution of computer. I think you may have heard the word called abacus. Abacus. It is the first calculating machine. With the help of this machine, means abacus is nothing but it is the calculating machine. It is the first calculating machine. With the help of this machine, people are going to calculate something. So next, in 1822, a differential engine is developed. A differential engine is developed by a person called Charles Babbage in 1822. A person called Charles Babbage introduced a machine called differential engine. Charles Babbage is a mathematician of the Cambridge University. When Charles Babbage invented this differential engine, it was operated by a machine built with wheels. Means in 1822, a person called Charles Babbage belongs to Cambridge University, developed a engine, means developed a machine that is called a differential engine, and this was a hand operated machine built with wheels. It was used to calculate various mathematical functions. So this is the first engine used to calculate various mathematical functions. It was so designed that once the initial value were set, it would produce the next few thousand values without mistake. Means this machine, means differential engine, is able to produce a number of results without mistake. And afterwards, the same person Charles Babbage in 1833, he made a slight difference in this engine, and he named it as analytical engine. He developed, he made some corrections in this engine and he named it as analytical engine in 1833. Charles Babbage developed the analytical engine. This machine consists of, what he says, in 1833, the same person, Charles Babbage, developed another machine that is called analytical engine. Analytical engine, and this engine contains 4 functional parts. That is, first one, input; second one, memory; third one, control unit; fourth one, ALU, and fifth one, output unit. What he says, in 1833, Charles Babbage developed the analytical engine. This machine consists of 5 functional units such as input unit, memory unit, control unit, ALU, that is arithmetical and logical unit, and one more, output unit. This architecture of the this analytical engine consists of 5 units, 5 functional units. On the basis of these 5 functional units only, at the present computer system works, right? So last class we discussed the block diagram of a computer that contains input unit, memory, CPU, a memory unit, output unit, right? So when this Charles Babbage in 1833 developed a engine, analytical engine, it contains these 5 functional units. So at present what we are using systems or laptops are also working on the basis of these 5 functional unit only. Means the present systems are working on the basis of, or they are on the basis of these 5 functional unit only. That's why Charles Babbage, the person called Charles Babbage, is called father of computer, right? This is important. In the examination we may get questions like this: who is the father of modern computer? Means the modern computer, what we are using, a system or laptop, are all working by referring to this analytical engine. Means by referring this analytical engine functions, input unit function, memory unit, CU, ALU, output unit, by referring this analytical engine, the modern system or laptops developed. Hence Charles Babbage, who developed an analytical engine, Charles Babbage is named as, or is called as father of computer. Charles Babbage is called as father of computer. Next, let us see the generations of computer. Means we can observe 5 generations of computer: first generation of computer, second generation of computer, like that. At present we are in 5th generation of computer. Now let us see what is the new invention of that period that gives information of generation of computers. Now next study. Next heading, generations of computer. Now I am explaining this generations of computer with a table. Then it is very helpful to understand or differentiate different generations of computer. Let us consider a table. First one is generation. Generation. Next one is a period. Period. What it is invented. What is invented. Next, access time. Access time. And the next one is features. Features. Next thing is computers use remark. Now let us see here. This table gives different generations of a computer. So first one is first generation of computer. First generation of computer, the period called 1945 to 56. So this period represents 1945 to 1956 represents first generation of computer. So in this period, what is invented means mainly vacuum tubes are used. Vacuum tubes are used, and the access time of the system is 10 to the power of -3. Second, access time means accessing is nothing but writing into the system memory or reading from the memory is called accessing time. Means what time it takes to enter data into the memory, or what time it takes data from the memory is called accessing time, right? So, and features means we can say vacuum tubes for the internal operations purpose. Internal operations purpose, like this. See what he says. This first generation period is 1945 to 56, and what is the main invention in this period means vacuum tubes are used, and afterwards the access time is 10 to the power of -3. Second, what are the features of this generation of computer means he says vacuum tubes for internal operations, magnetic drums used for memory, and punched cards were used for input and output purpose. Means here punched cards are used for input and output operations purpose. Means now what we are using for input and output operations purpose, we are using input devices such as keyboard, mouse, and for output purpose we are using printer, monitor, right? So in the first generation, for input and output operations purpose, punched cards are used. So in the first generation, when the computers are invented, at that time the size of the computer is very big. Its size is around the room, and input output operations purpose, these punched cards are used, and they are also very big in size. And next thing we can say that low level language is used in the first generation. Low level language is used. So I already told, low level language means two types, low level and high level. Low level language means language which is made up of English commands, right? So low level languages are used. And in the first generation of computer, important computers used in this generation. Computer used means which computers are used in the first generation. He says that in this generation, computer used in this generation are Mark 1 computers, and the second one ENIAC, third one EDVAC, and the next we can also observe UNIVAC computers are used. Means we can list name of the computers used in the first generation. He says Mark I, means he named Mark I is the first generation of computers. In the exam he may be asked, mention the computers used in the first generation. Then you list or mention these things: Mark 1, ENIAB, EDVAC, UNIVAC. You see, for the second, third, and fourth purpose, we there mentioned short form. It means this ENIAC stands for electronic numerical integrator and computer. Means this what? Electronic numerical integrator and computer. So like this, we can expect in the examination for 1 mark, expand ENIAC. Expand ENIAC. It stands for electronic numerical integrator and computer. In the same way, we can also expand EDVAC. That EDVAC represents electronic discrete variable automatic computer. EDVAC stands for what? Electronic discrete variable automatic computer. Similarly, this last one, UNIVAC, this stands for universal automatic computer. This stands for universal automatic computer. Automatic computer. So these four are the systems used in the first generation of computer. And the last one, remark, means what is the remark of this first generation? Remark means we can say required huge space. These are the remarks of first generations of computer. Required huge space, difficult to maintain due to high heat and high heat generation, more power consumption and more cost. So these 4 points, what are those? Require huge space, require huge space because the first generation computer size is very big, right? So we need one room. So these are the remarks. What requires a huge space, difficult to maintain due to heat generation, more power consumption and obviously more cost. So these represents information about first generation of computer. Now let us see second generation. And the period of second generation is 1956 to 63. So here in the second generation we can observe transistors are used. Transistors are used and the accessing time is here 10 to the power of minus 6 second. 10 to the power of minus 6 second. Just I am going to clean this one. Right? And for this second generation, what is the new invention? Transistors are introduced. Access time is 10 to the power of minus 6. And features means what we can say? Transistors were used for internal operations, whereas in first generation, vacuum tubes are used, punched cards are used, right? In the second generation, transistors were used for internal operations, magnetic core were used for memory, magnetic tapes, discs were used for a secondary memory purpose, and high level language was introduced in the second generation. High level language, main thing is here high level language. High level language. High level language, for example, initially COBOL, Fortran are used in the second generation, and the systems were faster, cheaper, smaller in size and had more memory compared to first generation. In the second generation means high level languages are used, magnetic material is used for secondary memory purpose, and we can say compared to first generation, the systems used in the second generation are faster, cheaper, smaller in size and had more memory compared to first generation. And here there is no remote. And next we can say third generation of computer. And what are the types of computers used in the second generation means stretch, large. These two computers means in the second generation what they developed, those computers are called stretch and LARC. These are they named computers in the period of 1956 to 63. Means these two are considered as second generations computer. Next in third generation, means in the third generation, that is 1963 to 71, third generation, what they invented means they placed ICs, that is integrated circuits. Means in the third generation, ICs are introduced in the system. IC stands for integrated circuits. And what are the features of this third generation means? In the third generation means, in the third generation, its access speed is 10 to the power of minus 9 second, 10 to the power of minus 9 second. And features means integrated circuits on silicon chips were used for internal operations. Means in the first generation, for internal operations, vacuum tubes are introduced. In the second generation, transistors are used. In the third generation, ICs, that is integrated circuits, are used. Integrated circuits on silicon chips. On silicon chip, integrated circuits are used for internal operations, and microcomputers were introduced. Means in the next I am going to explain. These are the different types of computers. Microcomputer also types of computers works are named on the basis of size and performance. Okay, these microcomputers are introduced in the third generation. Maintenance cost was low as hardware failure rate is low. The systems were totally general purpose and could be used for number of commercial applications. So systems which are made up of ICs, integrated circuits, at that time they are very low in size, very cheap in cost, hence the use of system is more. Means what he says, systems were totally general purpose. Means in the third generation, computers are general, computers are more popular, and hence general purpose computers are used. Means people started to use it in the third generations for their different works. And the next thing, examples for this third generation of computer means we can list RCA computer, Spectro-70, IBM 360. So these three, RCA, Spectra-70, IBM 360, these three are considered as systems used in the third generations of computers, right? And next, let us move to next generation, that is the fourth generation. Fourth generation, its period is 1971 to 1990s. So what here introduced in the fourth generation means LSI and VLSI are introduced. So in the fourth generation, LSI and VLSI chips are used. Means in the third generation, ICs, integrated circuits, are used. In the fifth generation, what? LSI and VLSI chips are introduced. LSI means large scale integration chips. VLSI means very large scale integration chips. And access time is 10 to the power of, this fourth generation access time is 10 to the power of 12 second, 10 to the power of 12 second. And features of fourth generation means we can list like this: more circuits on chips. LSI, VLSI means more circuits on chips contain LSI and VLSI, that is the large scale integration chips, and very large scale integration chips are used. Development of microprocessor chips is done in the fourth generation, means at present also we are using this microprocessor chip, right? So that is there inside the CPU. So this is done in the fourth year, and this fourth generation uses the keyboard, mouse for input operations, and the monitor, printer for the output operations. Means in the period of this 1970 to 1990, means in the fourth generation, for the input and output purpose we are going to use devices such as keyboard and mouse for input purpose, and to monitor and printer for output purpose. But in the beginning, for input and output operations purpose, in the first generation 1945 to 56, when vacuum tubes are introduced, at that time we are using punched cards for input and output operations. In the fourth generation we are using this keyboard, mouse, monitor and printers for input and output operations purpose. The cost of assembling reduced to a great extent. These are easily portable because of the small size and user friendly systems. Means this fourth generation systems are considered as user friendly systems. And systems belongs to this fourth generations can be named as fourth generation computers. Means Intel computers are used, as well as second one IBM computers are used. So these Intel and IBM computers are referred as fourth generations of computer. And let us see fifth generations of computer. Fifth generations of computer means what we can 1991 to present, means present what we are using, they are called fifth generations of computer. And actually what are used in the fifth generation means here also the same thing, LSI and VLSI chips are going to be used right now. And access time is greater than 10 to the power of minus 12 seconds. So at present access speed is greater than 10 to the power of minus 12 seconds. And what are the features of this present fifth generation of computer means parallel processing is done. Parallel processing is done means, so in the system just we are running or we are doing some work, means simultaneously we can start another work. So both the works are going to be continued. This is possible in the fifth generation. that is called parallel processing. And superconductor technology is greatly improving the speed of information flow. Means in the 5th generation superconductor technology is introduced. With the help of this superconductor technology, it improves the speed of information of flow of data, and supercomputer expert systems assist doctors in the making diagnosis of patient. Means in the 5th generation computers are also used in the medical, I said, applications of computer, right? So this supercomputers, expert computers, which are the 5th generation computers, they are going to help in the field of medicine by making guidance or a diagnosis to doctor. And the next point, input is fed through voice and touch. Means it is not only, suppose we in the 5th generation we can give input through voice or by touch screen. Using touch screens are available, right? What is the use of touch screen? Means suppose we have to perform some operation, means just we are going to touching that content, then operation is going on. So this in the 5th generation it is possible to give input in the form of voice as well as touch. And in the 5th generation advanced networking technology is developed. Development of robots to assist human beings is done in the 5th generations. So like this we can make a table of 5 generations of computer. So in the next class we are going to discuss another topic of this chapter, that is classification of computer. We can classify computer on the basis of data processing. We can classify computer on the basis of size and performance. Like this we are going to discuss how computer is classified on various bases in the next class. Thank you.